Hi, I'm Gabrielle Lancaster, and this is a presentation on ARCA's, the Wildlife Rehabilitation Center I just spent a week at in Guatemala. And this is a review and a comparison with some other wildlife rehabilitation centers located in Central and South America. So first, I'll talk about ARCA's. So I am going to be saying some things that I thought were done great, and then some things not that were bad, just that could have some work or improvement. So first, I have some pictures from my personal trip that I went on. So I have a picture of the room. I had no idea what to expect before I got there. So I was honestly very pleasantly surprised. The room was pretty nice. We had fans in each room, which made a huge difference. I was actually kind of cold at nighttime. The bathrooms were in our rooms, which was nice as I was expecting to be sharing a shower with everyone there and like toilet with everyone there. So it was nice that we had it right there in our rooms. And then I have a picture of the house that I stayed in. So there were like four rooms on the top and four on the bottom, and each room had two sets of bunk beds. So they could sleep four people in each room. And I loved the house. I loved the vibrant colors and felt like a giant tree house in the rainforest. And then they also had other housing as well. They were like little actual rooms because the one that we stayed in, it was screened in, and the other ones were actual like walls, but they had fans as well. And then the only thing, like I said, I couldn't really find anything online on their website about where we would be sleeping or like the bathrooms. And I know it's not a big deal, but still something that you want to know. And I think a lot of the other people who were staying there expressed that they also had been searching for not only what our rooms and the bathrooms and stuff looked like, but the whole grounds as well. And I did find YouTube videos that weren't associated directly with ARCAs, but from past volunteers. So I would just say their social media manager, or I don't know if they have someone that does that, but whoever is in charge of their website, maybe just add some information on the grounds and the rooms and the living situation while you're going to be there. Because if you're there for a long time, that's something that you want to know. And then next, I have a picture. This is a picture of a sign that was in the education center. So I thought that this was a really cool aspect that ARCA's has. It's separate from where we were volunteering. They have different animals here that they will not get released. So they kind of had them for more educational purposes for the community and for tourists visiting the area. And we got to do a tour of that one day as well, um, which it was we had someone different give us our tour than the first group, and he did the best that he could, but we were hoping for a little more information and interaction on our tour. But it was still awesome to see the animals that they had on that side and learn more about. And it was cool to see they had a lot of tourists that were visiting it as well. So it was nice to know that people take advantage of that on their trips and that they are getting educated on ARCAs and their mission as well as the animals in the area. And I have a picture of the food. That was also something that I thought was done amazingly. We had a variety of foods. There was more than enough. It was always hot and fresh. They had vegan options, vegetarian options, and the homemade tortillas we had were cooked fresh every day. They were so delicious. I miss them. Um, but yeah, it was really nice that we had breakfast, lunch, and dinner there included at the same time every day. And as I said, it was more than enough food. And it was nice the communal aspect of it too. We like we had our own tables, but it was kind of everyone at the site came and ate together at the same time. So it was nice to see everyone. And it was also very authentic as well. And then I'm looking at a list so back to kind of when I arrived, I will say something that I think, and it could have just been for this trip. I don't know what it's like for others, but I felt like when we arrived, I got there late at night, so I wasn't expecting to like an introduction that night, but I was like thinking the next day, like, oh, we're gonna be introduced and like shown the grounds and it like get to meet the people who run the center. And we were kind of just thrown into things. So it was kind of confusing. Like I felt kind of chaotic the first day because we were being taught what to do by other volunteers who had been there. And it was kind of up in the air. And we did get an introduction, but it was towards the end of our trip. It's because the woman that runs the center, she was not there until like 2 or 3 days after we had arrived. And when she did, there was more structure to things. And then as far as the daily tasks, I wish that we had gotten to do a little more things because I'm not a veterinarian student or pre-vet student, so I wasn't expecting to go and do like medical stuff, but I wish at first, the first few days, we had a lot of free time, and I was kind of worried and concerned, like, oh, we're gonna have so much free time, like we clean the animal, or we feed them and we clean and we're done. But like I said, once the woman who ran the center was there, she had a lot more activities that kept us much busier throughout the day at the end of the trip versus the beginning when she wasn't there. So we did things such as enrichment and different tasks around the center, like cleaning different areas or just things that needed more attention. Some other things that I thought that I loved about ARCA's, the people that worked there were so kind and they were passionate and welcoming, and you could tell that they loved what they do there. And you could tell that they were like a family and they all respected each other. And then they had students, I kind of touched on this, they had vet students there, so you could come, and there were girls that were there for like a 2 week, I think they had like clinicals and stuff while they were there, so they took classes and things. And then there was another girl there and she was there for like a month or two, and she was also going for vet school. And then people like me are just regular volunteers, so we kind of did the things to make, we did the tasks that could help the people who had a lot of experience doing this and were trained working with animals. We kind of did the littler jobs to help them do the more important things, which is nice because they said during COVID, they didn't have any help. And so it was just, I think it was like 2 or 3 of them cleaning the cages and feeding them. And, for volunteers, it takes maybe an hour, but for them, it was taking the whole day and they couldn't get the most important things done. And then they had an extremely wide variety of animals, from parrots and monkeys and deer, crocodiles, anteaters, pumas. They had like so much stuff. It was crazy. And then overall, I would say my experience as my first time ever doing a trip like this, I had a really great time and I would recommend this to other people. I know I made friends. That was something else I loved, was all the international people that came through, and a lot of them, they were like, "If we're gonna stay for a week and see and feel it out and then decide if we want to stay longer." And 2 of the people that I met, they were originally staying for 1 week, and then they both extended their stays at ARCA's to 2 or 3. And yeah, I definitely would consider doing this. I would come back to ARCA's, but I also would like to maybe do it in another location. I think this was a really good place to be submerged, like to see another culture and travel. It was a very unique experience for me. Okay, the next place is called Marizonia. It is in Mara, Ecuador. So this rehabilitation center seemed a bit more extreme in comparison to ARCA's as far as the location and the like living style of the center here. The daily tasks seem very similar from what I saw, and like they had similar roles as far as like no touch and policy, and like not conversing with the animals because they can't be released back into the wild. The center where they, or the area where they feed the animals, prepare the food, looked very similar to Arca's. Their food was included, which was similar. But as far as the housing situation, I watched one video and the girl said that they all share one room. So it was like one round room, and there were like 10 to 15 beds in the room. So everyone slept in the same room. And then the bathrooms were outside. They were not connected. So in the middle of the night, you had to go outside. And then there's no electricity at this center. I did read that in 2022, so this year, they'll be getting solar panels, which is cool. So yeah, they don't have lights at all. And then I thought it was also interesting because this program was started by people who were regular volunteers like I was, and they got really into it and were volunteering at different wildlife rehabilitation centers, and they decided to start their own. And then different from ARCA's, this one is about, like they said, around 10 to 15 volunteers, where ARCA's can be anywhere from 5 to 38. And then ARCA's is on 110 acres of land, which I felt was huge. And then this location is on 250 acres, and it's in the Amazon rainforest, and it's more desolate location. And then I have a video. Oops, that was let me pull this up. I have a video that just kind of tells a little bit more.
90% of people who feel tingling or numbness in their hands and feet are ignoring the warning sign.
Okay.
Arizona over other places, generally because of...
If it loads. Oh,
Marizonia is a rescue center set in the jungle near Mera. We receive animals mainly rescued by the ministry. Our main aim is to try and reintroduce these animals into the wild. Sometimes though that's not possible due to the physical and the mental damage that's caused by the pet industry and the pet trade. So where we fail into releasing them, we can try and give them as a natural environment as possible.
I love Marizonia because there's such an awesome range of animals here. We hopefully can put them all back in the wild again. So we have a hands-off policy here, what I really prefer, because I've been to some places where you do have a hands-on policy, and you will never ever can put those animals back into the wild. That's why I love this place so much. It's perfect here.
A typical day begins around 7:30 in the morning. We wake up and get ready for our first feeding and cleaning. After that, we have breakfast, hang out for a little bit, relax, and get ready for our second feeding, cleaning, and/or chores and projects if there's any that need to be done during that day. And then you end the day with your last round around 5. And you eat dinner and you relax and you have fun.
I would recommend Marizonia over other places, generally because of the kind of rehabilitation factor. That's what drew me in, because you know that you're kind of working every day with an aim in sight, that they're going to be released back into the wild, which is just a really nice thing to have in mind when you're doing everything.
Okay, so I just thought the video would kind of show it in a little more detail than what I could go into because I haven't been there. But yeah, so as you can see, there's a lot of similarities to ARCAs. Like I said, their daily schedule, they kind of start the same and end at the same time. So let me make sure I don't miss anything that I want. Yeah, so and then yeah, their goal is similar to ARCA's of wanting to rehabilitate animals and release them back into the wild. And if they can't, they give them the most natural environment that they can artificially. So the third location that I found, which is my favorite based off of what I saw on the internet, because I haven't actually been there, is Wild Sun and is located in Cabuya, Costa Rica. So this one seemed awesome to me. There was a lot of similarities and there's a lot of differences compared to ARCA's. So not only did they have volunteer opportunities at this location, but they had a wide variety of them. So when you could volunteer as in social media, in marketing, or social media and marketing, grant writing, and hospitality as well. And obviously, I'm a hospitality and tourism management major, so that was very exciting for me to see because it was like checking guests in and out of rooms, planning events, like helping guests coordinate things that they want to go out into the community and do. And it's said that they favor if you have a hospitality degree as well as knowledge in Spanish and English, which is me and my major and minor to a T. So that was really exciting and cool to see that they have that. And then they also do internships. So they have vet and pre-vet internships, wildlife biology and conservation internships. Yeah, like it's how I volunteered at ARCA's. They have stuff like that as well. And then, so this one I thought it was cool because you obviously have to pay at each of these places to stay, but the longer you stay, the less you pay. And then at Wild Sun, I think it was if you stayed for 12 weeks or longer, your stay was free, which I thought was really nice. And it's a good incentive to get people to stay longer. So this location is, you can see I have a picture of the room. It's pretty similar. The top one with the mosquito net, that one reminded me a lot of ARCA's. And then, so you could pay for that one, which is like the basic room. And then I have a picture of a different room on the bottom. You could pay to upgrade your stay. And they had air conditioning in these ones and a TV and Netflix and internet, which was really crazy. But I thought that's something that I personally would do. It's something that appealed to me. And then, they have also a wide variety of animals, very similar to ARCA's. I have a picture of a monkey here, which he had been electrocuted. I think a big portion of their animals are monkeys, they said, that have been electrocuted from swinging on power lines, because a lot of the power lines are either like fallen down or like, I guess, open, or if there's like storms there, they get messed up and animals obviously climb on them and swing on them. And a lot of them get electrocuted. And then they also have a lot of animals from dog attacks because there are a lot of free roaming dogs that do not have homes there, and they attack the animals sometimes. And then also from illegal trade, and then they said kidnapping, which was like the same at ARCA's, but people find an animal and they think that it needs to be rescued, and so they bring it to them, and really it doesn't need to be rescued. And then, as you can see up here, they have a pool, which I thought was really nice. Again, that's something that appealed to me. And it was also, I think it's separate from their volunteer side. It was kind of unclear, but they have like yoga retreats at it and things like that. And then I thought something that was also appealing to me was they do include meals, and you can cook in their kitchen, as well as they have the person that cooks their food. He was a think he said he was a chef and he makes foods, all different types of foods, which is nice. But also, like, if I'm going to be in Costa Rica, I want to be eating authentic Costa Rican food, which was kind of what, like, at Arcas, we were eating what they eat. So yeah, I thought that was nice that they offered that. And then I have another video that kind of, oops, goes into more detail if I can.
Check out this verbo.
Michael, they're your cousins.
This is Wild Sun Rescue Center. We are based on the Nicoya Peninsula of Costa Rica, home to a diverse array of tropical wildlife. To date, we have rescued, rehabilitated, and released over 100 animals. And currently on site, we have 26 howler monkeys, 3 capuchins, 3 possums, 2 deer, 1 paca, 1 raccoon, 1 porcupine, and 25 scarlet macaws.
We also have a management team comprising of biologists, a zoologist, a primatologist, 15 volunteers on site, and student internship programs running year-round.
Since we first started our Patreon campaign, we've completed 3 new large modular enclosures, built the infrastructure to become an extension of the Sopralapa Scarlet Macaw Reintroduction Program, and acquired some much-needed medical equipment, including a game-changing gas anesthesia machine, an oxygen generator, and an ultrasound machine.
With all this growth, the number of animals in our care has increased dramatically, and along with that, so have our costs. At this point, our monthly operating expenses are roughly $5,500, and on top of that, we could really use things like a new rescue vehicle, improved veterinary facilities and equipment, new enclosures for our animals, as well as raised walking paths in our pre-release area.
And that's where you come in. We've only made it this far because people like you decide to help. If you want to support our mission, all you have to do is follow the links below. Every amount makes a huge difference, and we'll send you regular updates on the animals in care so that you can see what you're a part of.
So, yeah, out of the 3, I would definitely say this one was more, obviously you're doing work and not living in like a really nice hotel, but this one would be like for people who want to do volunteer work with animals, and then also like you go back to a nicer, like cleaner space at the end of the day. I would say Arcas is in the middle, and then I would say that Marizonia is definitely on the more, like I said, extreme. Like if you really want that experience where like you're roughing it, you're kind of in the middle of nowhere, you don't, like I said, you don't have electricity, like very limited like resources in that aspect, then I would say Marizonia would be the way to go. I loved Arcas, but I think to me the Wild Sun seems really cool and it has a lot of things that appeal to me. And then trying to make sure that I covered everything. Yeah, and then again, they have the similar goal of rescue, rehabilitate, and release. And they also had a very wide variety of like team members that worked there. Like they had biologists and zoologists, and then yeah, like they have the hospitality aspect of it. So it covers a very, Wild Sun has a very wide variety of things that they cover. And my sources at the end, and then I get back. Yeah, so that was my kind of review and comparison of all of them. I am so glad I had this assignment because I didn't, even before I took the trip and went and stayed at Arcas, I didn't even know that there were places like this. And now I found one that I really could see myself enjoying and going and staying at. And it's kind of sparked a new interest for me and like a new way of traveling. So yes, yeah, thank you for watching my presentation. And that is all. Thank you.